Good morning, guys. Welcome to Wednesday's FRT Gold live video. Hope you're all doing well. The week seems to be flying by. We're already pretty much halfway through it. Should be another decent day of action today. In terms of the quality, I think it gets better as the week goes on, as always. And there's no doubt that there are some horses on show today that certainly are better quality than what we've seen on the Monday and Tuesday. There's jumps and flat racing today as well, so something for all of us. And actually, I don't think the jumps cards are too bad. You know, summer jump are usually quite poor, but actually our premium tip is going over the jumps today. So hoping for a good day and hoping to keep building the profit as we've been doing over the last sort of week or two. We have certainly hit some form, and even those days that aren't brilliant in terms of profit, you know, we are, you know, either the losses are very, very small or you know, there is some small profit. And if we can hit small profit most days, and then even just have one or two in a week where there's really big profit, then that's going to be superb. But any profit is welcome here, and that's exactly what we got yesterday following to the recommended points. We had some really small profit. We had a 2-to-1 next best bet winner, and then a 1 point single, meaning that brought in 6 points profit. Unfortunately, the premium tip, a really disappointing run from that, was at 2-to-1, backed in to 5-to-4, and just didn't run a very good race. You can make excuses, but I don't think there are too many for that one. Just didn't run a good race, so that we lost 3 points on that, and then a 1 point single, and the little earner at 0.5 points each way. So in total, we ended the day 1 point up in profit. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but you know, if you are going by £10 per point, that's £10 in profit. If you did that every day of the month, if you ended up £1. If you did £10 per point every day of the month and you ended up 1 point in profit each day, that'd be £300 you'd make in a month, which I don't think many of you would make that too much. So yeah, profit is good, especially sometimes, as I say, it wasn't the best day. It wasn't a day to, you know, be sending out a big email about or anything like that. But there was profit, and that's exactly what we're here for. So we hope for more of the same today, maybe a few more points, and hopefully we can do that premium tip and next best bet double. If you did want to do that, remember, I do just recommend 1 point on that, and you only need a couple to win during the month for that to be sort of in profit. So that was yesterday. Today should be a decent day of action. We're racing from Catterick, from Lingfield, from Uttoxeter, Worcester and Sandown. Uttoxeter and Worcester are those meetings over the jump, and it's Worcester and Sandown are the ones taking place this evening. The other three taking place this afternoon. Remember, if this is a live Q&A session, if you did want to join in that, there's plenty of ways for you to get in touch. You can join just straight into this Q&A session. If you've got any questions about any of today's racing, maybe you're off to a meeting and you'd like a few extra tips for that, or any sort of extra tips, or you want to make your own sort of bets and you want my help with that, that's absolutely fine. Do feel free to get in touch. That's what I'm here for. That's one of the advantages of being a gold member. So those ways for you to get in touch, even if maybe you're not watching this video live. I know plenty of you sort of watch it on your lunch break or whatever. Remember, you can just send me an email, joe@freeracingtips.co.uk. You can get in touch via Facebook as well at facebook.com/groups/FRT Gold. If you're a member on there, you can even just click on my profile and send me a private message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So loads of ways for you to get in touch. Please do feel free to do just that. Right, we'll get stuck into the premium tip to start with today, and it's the premium tip goes in the 220 at Uttoxeter, as I said, over hurdles there. It's a maiden hurdle race, the first at Uttoxeter, and our tip here is Admiral Hawk, currently at 3-to-1, and that's been backed in from 7-to-2. Now, this looks to be a really winnable race, actually, for a horse that is perhaps a little bit unlucky to still be a maiden. I think this could be a really shrewd bit of placing from trainer Brian Ellison. He has 2 in this race, and I think Admiral Hawk is certainly the strongest of those 2. Has shown quality over in Ireland, has a couple of really good placed efforts there over in Ireland, and hasn't actually been seen in action since January. But I think connections have been holding out for some really good ground, and that's what we've got today. I don't think this horse likes a testing surface, and yeah, as I said, this could just be a really smart bit of placing. I don't think there's too much for the horse to beat, and if anywhere near his best and showing that kind of form, that he did in Ireland, I think he'll take this one. Being backed as well, as I said, 7-2 into 3-1. Some bookies even at 11-4. Wouldn't be surprised to see that go to 5-2 recently, and that means that there clearly is a bit of support for this horse. And he just ticked a lot of boxes. And when it came out in terms of ratings, this horse was right up there as well. The figures looked really good, and just the kind of horse that I look for in a kind of novice or maiden hurdle, as is with today. Has been off the track for a while, but I think sometimes it's not, strangely, it can't sometimes not quite as big a problem for a jumps horse as it is a flat horse. Sometimes I think flat horses first time out for the season I struggle with, but I think this horse has probably been trained with this race in mind. As I say, a shrewd bit of placing, and I think will go well and looks to be a good premium tip at good value. That's in the 220 Uttoxeter Admiral Hawk 3-1. That's from 7-2. Right, the next best bet for today, that goes in the 740 at Sandown, and it's Billingsgate, currently at 2-1. Now, this horse looks to be improving all the time, actually, especially this season, and won in handicap company last time out, which is always good. I think, when a horse wins a maiden and then it goes into handicaps, you can often be a little bit worried, but he's got that handicap win out of the way, and that could be vital. I think still looks to be really well treated in this one. I think it's probably the least exposed of these horses, and I think is the joint top rated, to be honest, and isn't carrying anywhere near like top weight. Is actually down the bottom in terms of weight and having to be carried, which is a really positive sign. I think could possibly just be one step ahead of the handicapper and could be a lot better than what this race is. And yeah, looks to be good value. Runs for Charlie Appleby as well, who's a trainer that I certainly like to follow. And William Buick is the man on board, and that's boost confidence as well. You want one of the best jockeys on board, and that is exactly what William Buick is. So a decent next best bet there. 2 points on Billingsgate in the 740 at Sandown at 2-1. Right, we'll move on to the little earner for today now, and that goes in the 440 at Lingfield, and it's Nimi Lake at 14-1. It's 0.5 points each way. I think this horse looks to be running off a really winnable mark today. Actually, has dropped down a bit in the weight and a bit in grade, and I think this looks to be, what is it, a winnable mark, but certainly a mark that the horse can finish in the places in. Does go well on the all-weather, which is always vital. Some horses like it, some don't handle it at all. This horse has some decent form on the potty track, which is a good sign. Doesn't look to be the strongest of race, I think, and I think should go well in this one. She's a consistent horse, to be honest, and I think that's, her consistency and the fact that she's running off a winnable mark and could be back down to a fairly well handicapped horse. I think the handicapper very much had a grip of this horse a few months ago, but at the moment, I think, could potentially be well handicapped and might just be a little bit better than ratings suggest. And certainly looks to have everything in her favour today, and 14-1 does look to be a huge price. Should go well. I actually really do expect this horse to place, and if it can get close and maybe just get a nose in front, that would make it a great day for us. But yeah, that's the little earner in the 4 o'clock, or the 4:10, sorry, at Lingfield. Mimi Lake at 14-1. Right, there's as always, 2 1-point win-only single bets. As always, if you want to put them in a lucky 15 with the premium tip and the next best bet, that's absolutely fine at the moment. In terms of just building the bank, this is certainly the way to go. We wouldn't have had, if we'd have done the lucky 15 yesterday, if it was premium tip, next best bet, lucky 15 and little earner, it would have actually worked out as a little bit of a loss, because the lucky 15 would have returned around about even money. So I think we would have ended up 2 points, or maybe a point, I think a point loss rather than the point profit it was from doing singles. Just seems to be the best way to go at the moment. We're building that bank, and I think confidence is building again, and we seem to be doing well and in some decent form, producing winners each day. I know sometimes it's only the one winner, and sometimes it's 3 or 4, but yeah, winners are coming, and the figures for the month so far are looking really good. So the 2 1-point singles, we have Miami Carousel, and that's in the 2 o'clock at Catterick. This horse was at 7-4 but been backed, currently 11-8, so hopefully you got on that. If you didn't, then I'd maybe, I don't know, 1-point single at 11-8. It probably isn't the best way to go, to be honest. I don't want to recommend 2 points on it, but it might be worth just possibly sticking in a double or a treble with something as a multiple, because I don't know if you can still do it as a 1-point single, but the returns won't be as good, of course. It'll be like 2 point or 1.33 points profit rather than the 1.75, which is quite a big difference, but that's your call. The other one that certainly isn't a problem on value, it's tenor in the 340 at Lingfield, currently at 9-2. This horse I think can run a really good race, especially I think in the hands of Adam Kirby, who is for me the master around Lingfield and a jockey that is always worth following. I put him right up there with the best of them in terms of value and in terms of, you know, a man that you want on your horse, and how many times he gets it wrong. I think that's what you look for in a jockey a lot of the time. You know, there can be not much between them. I mean, if you're on the best horse, then you're more than likely to win the race, but you know, those best jockeys are the ones that don't get it wrong very often. Some get it wrong quite a lot, and I don't think Adam Kirby's one of them. I think his errors are actually very small. But yeah, they're all of today's tips. Hopefully we can have a good day there. In terms of looking ahead to the weekend, it's not as if we've got the strongest of weekends, to be honest. There's plenty of good racing coming up, you know, but we had Newmarket last week, and it's sort of, I think there's a Group 3 coming from Newbury this weekend, and that's just about the highlight of the weekend. Next weekend, it's there's Group 1 from Ascot, of course, with the King George taking place, and then during the week, as of Tuesday through till Saturday, it's Glorious Goodwood in that starts in just under 2 weeks now, and that's going to be superb, no doubt about that. If anyone's heading to Glorious Goodwood, do let me know, because I will be there. But in terms of today's video, looking ahead to today, there's all of today's tips. Remember, if you've got any questions about any of those horses, please do feel free to get in touch, and if you want any extra tips or anything like that, I'm always just at the end of an email or a Facebook message or something like that, so please do feel free to get in touch. But thanks for watching today's video. Good to see plenty of you watching, and I'll speak to you all a little bit later on. There'll be a video once again tomorrow morning, 11 AM. Thanks, and bye-bye.